Good afternoon. Today is the 6th of November 2016. I'm Karen Harding. I'm a criminal defence lawyer from Auckland, New Zealand. Today we've been having a seminar series on various different legal concepts and theories. We've discussed therapeutic jurisprudence, preventative law, preventative lawyering, holistic law, and now we're just going to talk about a concept called relationship-centred lawyering and the problem-solving lawyer. For a criminal law practitioner wishing to invoke therapeutic jurisprudence as an underlying approach to their practice of law, the lawyer will need to engage with other professionals such as mental health professionals, applying an interdisciplinary team-based approach to advocacy to provide integrated services to their clients. The lawyer will need to assist their client to find solutions to the underlying problems that have contributed or led to their offending, with the aim of reducing or preventing recidivism. The lawyer will have a focus not just on jealously defending their clients' rights, but in also helping individuals to become peaceful, healthy, and productive members of their community. So what are we talking about? What is relation-centered lawyering and the problem-solving lawyer? Well, the problem-solving lawyer looks at what is the problems that have managed to bring your client to court. And in the criminal law context, some of these things are quite obvious. If they're doing a drink driving charge, for example, and they've got previous convictions and they're charged with driving with excess breath or blood alcohol, third or subsequent, the first thing you need to do is assess whether that person's got an alcohol problem. How would you do that? You arrange for the person to be referred for a drug and alcohol assessment. There's numerous places where you can do that. You can refer the person to CADS, or you can refer them to a private agency such as Care New Zealand, who are very good. Also the Harmony Trust, for example, the Salvation Army. For very serious problems, you've got Odyssey House, Higher Ground, and a range of other professionals. So the reason that you'd want to get, for example, an alcohol assessment is you want to see what is the nature of the problem. Because, for example, with a drink driving charge, the person's either got a drinking problem, or they've got a judgment problem, or they just don't care and they just want to drive the car any old time they like and they don't care about the safety of other people. For people who just don't care about anyone who's going to drive no matter what state they're in, there's not much that the law can do to help them. And then they're probably looking at a higher penalty. So getting an assessment is quite helpful, because if the assessment comes back that person is a binge drinker or got a problem with alcohol or an addiction to alcohol and are dependent on the alcohol, then you can focus on addressing those problems, and in a problem-solving basis with the court, utilising the therapies of getting treatment and engaging in a therapeutic jurisprudence type approach, applying problem-solving justice, you can get the court to focus on rehabilitating that client to get them the best possible outcome in court. And that could also assist them with a range of dealing with issues to do with their driver's licence, whether they want to apply for a limited licence or they need an alcohol interlock licence, for example. So the drug and alcohol assessment is important, as in referring the person to the appropriate counselling for their needs. So if the person's got a really serious problem, they might need residential treatment, but if the problem is relating to lack of alcohol education, such as how alcohol affects the body, so they can make better decisions about driving, there are different courses for that. There's courses on the facts and effects of alcohol, and there's courses that provide alcohol education and counselling. If your client's coming in on male assault female charges, then you want to get that person assessed for some anger management counselling. So for example, they are relevant to getting the person the best sentencing outcome. So in some situations, a client might deny that they're offending. I'm not doing the drink driving because I didn't drive, it was somebody else pretending to be me. That's a different type of client in case you're dealing with on a not guilty plea, if they're saying they're not the driver, or if the person on the male assault female charge is saying that they never did the offending at all, it just never happened. But if the person's saying the offending occurred, they admit it was them, then you as the lawyer have got to help them to mitigate the consequences to them and to help them prevent reoffending. That's using your preventative lawyering skills to help them prevent reoffending by giving them the skills that they need to upgrade their situation. Otherwise they're just going in a circular matter through the court, going in and out. And you need to help them to resolve those issues for their own well-being and for their family well-being, and also just for the benefit of society in general. And really that's the reflection on most of the charges that you've got. Even in terms of drug offending, you want to get that person assessed for their drug and alcohol needs and referred to counselling before they go to sentencing. And then you can also look at other charges. For example, if you get people coming in on fraud offending, you might find that underneath that fraud offending you've got people engaged in gambling. why they engaged in gambling. They pretty much lost control of various different things, and so you need to get that person referred to the Problem Gambling Foundation and get some counselling underway into that. Underneath some of those issues to deal with gambling and drug and alcohol addiction can be sexual abuse. They might have been abused as a child. They could have all sorts of self-esteem issues, and again domestic violence in the home and a whole range of other issues. So it's a multi-layered approach for how you might deal with it. For example, if you get a female drink driver coming in, not only has she got an alcohol problem, if you ask her, you might find out what else is going on at home. And you also could find, for example, that there is issues of sexual abuse in her childhood, and when it flares up, she's been drinking alcohol to compensate for it and then gets caught for drink driving. Well, you want to refer that person to a sensitive claims counsellor under ACC and get that person undergoing some psychological counselling. In the end, all the counselling and programs that the client does will help them to get the best sentencing outcome, and it will also increase their well-being and their self-esteem and help them to prevent reoffending. If you find that your client's got mental health issues, then it's really important to get an assessment. You might want to refer them to get a psychological assessment to see if there is any issues. Is there borderline personality disorder? Is there a range of other different disorders? Have they got psychological problems? Have they got a mental health disorder? Is there schizophrenia? Are they bipolar? So by having an assessment, you can actually get to the bottom of really if there is anything organic going on or any personality disorders. Also, you might be doing a Parole Act application and the person might need to do a psychopathy test. It's never good when a person fails the psychopathy test and gets a high score on it. There's not a lot you can do to rehabilitate a psychopath, but those are all issues that you need to have a look at. So relationship-centred lawyering involves helping your client address all those legal issues. Even if you find and you're dealing with a really serious case and the person has been required to do a psychopathy test in their parole board application and it's come back and they're in the highest percentile of that, you can still help that person by helping to explain to them what that's all about, what the research is saying, what it means to have those medical conditions, what it means to have the combined diagnosis of that plus the borderline personality disorder, so the person gets information and understands themselves and their situation better. And ultimately, by using that in relation to problem solving, you're trying to problem solve for the client their various different problems to get them the best outcome possible, to increase their self-esteem, to increase their understanding of what's going on, and also so they feel heard and listened to, and that they can understand the court process, and so that you make the process for them as easy as possible and as less stressful as possible. We have mental health forensic nurses at court and the ability to refer under the Mentally Impaired Persons Act people to get psychiatric assessments in court if they're not able to enter a plea. So relationship-centred lawyering is really looking at a way to help the client to find solutions to their underlying problems so that they can get an understanding of what's contributed to the offending. You're aiming to get them the best possible outcome, and the double aim under that is to reduce reoffending. And you're protecting their rights zealously, you're teaching them to become peaceful and productive members of community and helping them to be able to re-engage with their families and society in a way that prevents these legal problems so they don't just keep doing the wrong thing all the time, which can be a pattern of just engaging in the same kind of crimes over and over and over again because they don't have a better way or better sense of behaviours, so they keep repeating the same patterns. And so by referring them to the appropriate counselling, they can create new patterns that work for them. And that has a lot of really good information, and it's really powerful, and that's one of the special things about being a lawyer involved in therapeutic jurisprudence, able to use the problem-solving courts, is that you can help a person better their lives. So I hope you found that helpful.